Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome back to Total Football Talks. We're going to look at all the latest news coming out of Manchester United, and as always, there is plenty. So we shall dive straight in. We look at the top stories. Bendito Mantato is someone who's being talked about quite heavily at the minute. I'll go into why. He's in the youth team, but he's making big waves. We'll look at some of the stories that are coming out in regards to Jonathan David and whether he could be joining Manchester United. And we'll also look at the possibility of Trincao. There's pros and cons. I think he would be a good signing, but I don't know if he's going to quite fit our mold and the style of this so-called new regime, what they want in terms of player age, etc., profile. We'll also look at a little bit about Hugo Ndike. We'll look a little bit about what Fabrizio Romano has said about Jadon Sancho, and a little bit on Tyler Dibling as well, and a couple of other bits. Okay, so let's jump into the top story. And that is with Bendito Mantato. He will sign a new contract until 2029 at Manchester United, with Jason Wilcox being key to getting the agreement done. Ruben Amorim really trusts the player. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have seen much of him, but obviously we missed out on Quenda, and as I said, I still think that was we ballsed that one up. We still made a mistake on the Quenda deal. I think that's one of those ones that could have been a marquee signing for the summer, but he wasn't. But I think Mantato, he's an excellent player, can play on the right back, can play on the right wing, play on the left wing, left back, as in he can play wing backs on either side. Very, very gifted kid, has a lot of energy, can get forward, knows where the goal is, and has been having a very, very good season for the under-18s and when he has played for the under-21s. And I think he's got the energy and the legs that Ruben Amorim is looking for to get, for the player profile, really suits what Ruben Amorim wants in his, 3-4-3 formation. So he's one to keep an eye on. I'm really glad that he's signing a contract. The youth team is just riddled with lots and lots of quality. As I said before, they're all not going to make it. They can't. Just law of averages. Back in '92, I remember the class of '92 coming through, and there was 6 of them that came through. That's just ridiculous. If 6 of these guys came through, that would be unreal. But I think it's going to be difficult for 5 or 6 to come through. Mantato could be one. And as I said, there are a few others that there's some of the guys that are training in the first team. Jack Moorhouse is one to watch out for. I watched him against Leeds in the under-21s. It was absolutely phenomenal. The way that kid can carry a ball is just ridiculous. Jack Fletcher, Ibramov. We also know about Cheeto. So there is an abundance of young players. The Harry Amas playing on the left side. There's a lot of young players in that youth squad. And I've only named a couple. There are plenty more. Goodwill, Kakonki, etc. Tons and tons and tons of talent. This young lad is going to sign. He's only just turned 17, just signed his contract, and I think he will be our Quenda replacement. Now, I'm not saying, and again, I still think we ball stop in Quenda. I think they should have got that deal done, or they should have found a way to make it work. This young kid is of the same ilk. Now, I just hope he can come through and do what because he's just a bit younger than Quenda, but obviously he's got no first team experience, so he'll hopefully get minutes between now and the end of the season. One to keep an eye out for. As I said, we lost out in Quenda, but maybe we have our own Quenda in the youth ranks, but only time will tell. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll move on to the next story, and it said despite inquiries it is unlikely that Jonathan David will move to Manchester United, with a versatile forward not the kind of profile that Ruben Amorim is looking for. Now, I think we're being linked to him because he's on a free transfer. He is someone that would have cost us a certain amount of money. We wouldn't have pay a transfer fee. I think we probably he would have got quite well. He would have done well with his wages. But if Ruben Amorim doesn't think he fits, then maybe we don't go for him. Maybe he's one that we just have to chalk off the list and go, right, link to, not going to move for. But as we all know, I don't completely write it off. Anything can still happen. He still is a free transfer, and Manchester United scrabbling around towards the end of the transfer window, which inevitably, I can't say that word, we have been in the past. That's maybe the case. We may end up doing the same again, and he then may become a sort of option. But at the minute, we are being told that he doesn't suit what Ruben Amorim is looking for, so we shall move on to the next story. And this is on Trincao. And Trincao has reportedly been advised by his Portuguese teammates to move to Manchester United. Ronaldo, Fernades, Dalot have all proclaimed the positives of a move to Old Trafford. Would the 25-year-old midfielder be a good fit for Amorim's system? This is coming in from Graham Bailey. For me, Trincao brings experience. He helps. He understands Ruben Amorim's system, and he will come in and okay. Can he deal with the fast paced nature of the Premier League? That might be a difficult one for him, but I think he could come in. I think he's a very very good player. Can play anywhere across the front. Would really a very versatile player. Is a good age. Has played at a good level. Has international experience. Would help some of the younger kids coming through the team. Would be really beneficial to Manchester United. If we could get him on a good deal, he's at the right age. He's only just coming into his prime now, 25, and I think that he would be a very, very good signing for us. Again, will Manchester United do it? I've got a feeling they won't. I've got a feeling that we'll just end up buying, another youngster in replace with, or we'll end up trying to bring someone through. Maybe it will be a Jack Moorhouse because Trincao can play in the 10s and so can Jack Moorhouse, and maybe they'll just go, oh, let's not spend any money and let's just try and, keep everything in-house. So, obviously nice that Dallo and Ronaldo and he's obviously knows Ruben Amorim. So let's keep an eye on that one. Let's see if that one has any legs. Now the one other story that was in about a striker was just closest sources to Carrington have confirmed an increased interest in Frankfurt's Hugo Ekitike, and that is coming from Sean McConnelly 85. Very very good player. I just don't know whether we can afford him. He's going to be in around the £70 million mark. We've already done this with Højlund, and Højlund is still a developmental player, as is Ekitike. And I just think if we do get him, I would be very surprised if he is the one that we go for in the summer because of how much money he will cost us. I just don't see it. As good as he is, only unless that price tag is reduced is the only way I think that we could move for him. But get your thoughts in. Get your thoughts in on Mantato. If you've seen him, what do you think? Are you someone that thinks he could make that transition into the first team? Jonathan David, I didn't ask you about that. What do you think about Jonathan David? Do you think it's something that Manchester United should look at? And Trincao, what's your feelings on it? Do you think he's good enough? Do you think he's old enough? Do you think he can bring enough experience? Do you think he can handle the Premier League? Plenty of questions. And then Ekitike as well. Do you think he could go from the German, from Bundesliga to the Premier League and be able to cope at such a young age? We're finding that Tell at Spurs is finding it maybe a little more difficult than he anticipated. And he struggled a little bit. So is Ekitike another one who could come over and then we spend a lot of money on and struggle? I still think Osimhen or Gyökeres or Gyökeres, sorry, is how you probably should pronounce it. I still think we should be looking at an experienced striker as opposed to Ekitike, no matter how good he is, because I just fear that if he starts to lose his way as a kid, he may struggle. So that's where I am with that. That's my thoughts on that. Get your thoughts in below. If you have subscribed, amazing. There's half my subscribers haven't subscribed. They keep coming back to the channel. If you guys get the chance, if you could subscribe, that would be absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. If you tap a like on the old like button, that would be absolutely amazing too. Really, really help me out. And yeah, look, okay, let's jump into the last few stories before I wrap it up. Okay, so we're looking at the Tyler Dibling story of the 100 million. So while 100 million is the price tag that's being banded around publicly for Tyler Dibling, privately Manchester United will find that they might not turn down kind of an offer of 60 million. Still, 60 million for Tyler Dibling is ridiculous. One season in the Premier League, I've said before. Not a load of goals, not a load of assists, getting relegated with Southampton. I'm not saying he's not a talented player. He certainly is a talented player. He is of the Jack Moorhouse kind of quality. And well, obviously Tyler Dibling's further ahead of him because he's playing in the Premier League already. He's already had a season experience of the Premier League, which Jack Moorhouse hasn't. I think that Tyler Dibling would be a very, very good signing, but for about 30 million, not at 60 million. 60 million. Why are we selling Garnacho and Manu for around the same money and then bringing in someone for the same money? Because Garnacho and Manu both have very high ceilings, and I believe they have potential to go on and do really well, as has Dibling. And if we get Dibling, fantastic. But at 60 million, we're just squandering money if we do it. Because if he doesn't work out, if he has a season like Garnacho does, he'll get absolutely slated. Then he'll also have the price tag on top of him. Garnacho's got he came through the academy, and that's where he takes some stick from. And that maybe it gives him a little bit of breathing space sometimes because he is through the academy. You come in at 60 million and Tyler Dibling falters at any stage and he's going to be slammed with the price tag. Can the kid handle it? Absolute massive pressure, massive club. And I just don't know. 60 million, no. 30 million, yeah, we're talking. 60 million, no. 100 million, you're laughing. Let's leave it at that. So that's where my thoughts are. What are your thoughts on Tyler Dibling? What do you guys think out there on Tyler Dibling? And this is the next story. So the possibility the Manchester United will sign an unnamed young prospect striker, another prospect striker, unbelievable. The player currently plays in France, and it would be similar to the signing of Sakakoni and Diego Leon. Now Sakakoni scored he scored a goal and won a penalty in the under-21s against Leeds. Kid's absolutely sensational. Can he make that move from the under-21s up until the first team? We may get to see him this season, so keep an eye out for him. He is one for the future. But an unnamed French striker. Apologies, can't get my words out this morning. French striker. What are we thinking about that? Jesus, I mean, we already have loads of young players. Obviously Cheeto is coming through. An unnamed French striker that's probably going to have to sit in the under-21s for a little while. Great if that's what he's being brought in for the future, but we so desperately need experience. And that's what I come back to the Jonathan David story. Do I think that Jonathan David is going to be someone that we're not going to move for? Maybe down the line, if we're still struggling to bring in a striker, we may have to revisit that. But bringing in another unknown prospect, great, because if Vivel's involved in it, he's probably got some some links to something very, very maybe not special but interesting. I don't know. We'll just have to see who this is. I am interested to see who this is going to be. And this is the last story of the day. So for Bendito Mantato, what I can guarantee you that I don't see Sancho playing for Manchester United next season. Even if he returns to Carrington, he is expected to try. He's expected to leave and try a new challenge. Now I think this is good news. If Jadon Sancho is not coming back, he's one less headache. And hopefully he will stay at Chelsea. There is rumours that Chelsea are just going to pay the money. So we get 25 million for him. Fingers crossed that is what happens. He goes to Chelsea and we get the opportunity to let him pass on by and just move away from the club. He can go and do his thing in Chelsea or go back to Germany as he's tried to look at that move. Wish him all the best. Good luck. Have your good career somewhere else. But unfortunately, Jadon hasn't worked out at Manchester United. You'll maybe potentially have even more freedom in the summer with wherever you end up, and I hope it works well. Okay guys, thank you very much for joining me this morning. If you stayed right to the end, amazing, legends, so much. Thank you for all the support that's been coming through. Really appreciate that in recent days, and I'll keep going. I'll keep trying to get better. See you later guys. Click the old subscribe on the way out, hit a like, thumbs up if you would, and I'll see you tomorrow.